Hello, and welcome to Rhyme Entertainment Showcase with your hosts, Rita and Mel.
This is Paris, the capital of gastronomy. With 115 top-rated restaurants, 1 million baguettes devoured each day.
Et bah c'est parti! So, what's this?
Planet Earth, home to a growing number of Homo sapiens and a whole lot of other creatures. It's a great place to live. But when it comes to the future of our small planet, the truth is, I've given up. And the odds are, so have you. What if there was another path?
I know I am a filmmaker, and there's no other choice for me.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Rhyme Entertainment Showcase, Paris International Film Festival. So today we are speaking to Mauli Junior Bonner, who is the director, writer and producer of his debut feature, Green Flake. Welcome to the show, Mauli.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. So tell us about the film, Green Flake.
Green Flake. Well, Green Flake is a story about this young teenage slave. Well, he was enslaved as a 11-year-old, and at the age of 19 was sent to trek across country. And this is like over 1,000 miles across country to lay down the land for the early Mormon church. And so when I learned about this story of this teen as a slave doing so much, I just felt like I have to tell it. It just can't be something that I just keep to myself. And so that's how Green Flake, the film, was born.
Amazing. So, I mean, tell us a bit about your background. So we know that you've got a background in music, and then now, of course, this is your first debut feature. What was that like, coming from music and then going into film?
Yeah. So my background is in music. So I write and develop pop artists. So if they sing and dance, usually I'm the one to help them get ready for their tours or shows or recording sessions. Camila Cabello, Ariana Grande, Kesha, Boyz II Men, you know? And so music was always my thing, writing and getting them to be their most authentic self for their audience. And so as I came into film, there was a connection, you know, not so much in the preparation for filming, but once I was on set, I felt like, oh, I do know this space of getting this person to deliver these lines in a way that we believe them as a viewer.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously it was your first feature. I mean, how different was it? And like that transition, I mean, did you feel, yeah, I know what to do, I'm going to just run with what I know, or how did you feel it?
I knew nothing. And honestly, I still know nothing. I don't, I'm still learning. The only experience I had in filmmaking was going to the movies. That was it. I'd never been on the set. I had no experience. In 2018, it was the summer of 2018, in August, I started writing the film. And I was only writing because as I was reading about Green Flake, my natural thing was to write. So I was writing music and songs.
Yeah.
So by the end of September, I had these 200 pages and I'm like, man, I think this is a film. And so I just started calling people and calling friends that were actors and saying, hey, I want to make this movie in 2 months. And every person I called to be in the film was on board, which is very different than the producers and crew and stuff like that, because they were like just laughing. As soon as I said, we're going to film in 2 months, they're like, okay, you don't know how it works. And I'm like, no, you don't understand what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, and the fact that, again, I mean, a lot of the filmmakers, of course, that we've interviewed will say, yeah, you know, we've been through film school or they've done all this. I mean, you did it off the back of just saying, I've got a film, let's make it. What was that like for you, that whole experience of creating that film and getting the cast to be on board with everything?
Well, honestly, a big part of it, what I had going for me was that I didn't know the process. I knew the end result of what I wanted. So I just knew that this was going to happen at this point of time. In December, we're shooting. And so had I known how much work it was going to be, I probably wouldn't have done it. I had no idea how many pieces go into the puzzle of making a film. Yeah. And one by one, the pieces started to come together and we had to basically all do it at the exact same time, all do our part. The money had to come in at the same time as the crew saying yes, at the same time as the county giving us the rights. Like everything had to be a yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, nothing would have happened.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's so inspirational just to kind of see that, you know, you can make a film. It's not necessarily about, you know, having years and years of experience, but just having that inspiration to do so. Would you say that it was like an inspiration and a certain energy just to say, yeah, go and do it? Or do you feel it takes a bit more than that?
Mel, I mean, that's exactly it. I felt inspired and pushed to do it. I felt like I can't not do it. There's no way. I have to do it. And so because of that, I think other people felt that, you know, I realized that, you know, especially living in LA, a lot of people talk, but if you believe someone's going to do what they say they're going to do, then you get on board. Like if I told you guys, now listen, I'm making this other film and it's going to be amazing. And you believed me that it's going to happen and believe in the story, then you'd be like, hey sis, let's carve some time and make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what the process was. People really came on board because they believed in the story and believed that it was going to get done.
Yeah. I mean, obviously what, you know, your journey is inspirational in the fact that you just said, you know what, I am inspired. I've got to make this. Let's make it happen. But I mean, in terms of yourself, obviously, did you have any aspirations to write a film, to make a film at all in your journey of your career? Or did it just suddenly appear?
Yeah.
It was zero. I never even thought about it. That was never even a thought until literally it seems like a movie scene when I play it back in my head, because I was like a mad scientist with all of these papers spread out on the floor. And I was like organizing them like, I think this is a movie, you know, like it was just as I was writing, because initially it was songs because I write music, but as it came together, it wasn't until then that I realized that it was a film. And, you know, one of the biggest strengths I had was family. You know, I had my sister she's, you know, everybody has that sibling or person in their life that's kind of the one that's like, you got this. And she was that for me. You know? Oh, no, that was awesome. and so I, you know, without her, I don't know, my sister Clotilde, because she helped me push through some of this writing and combing through the film and next steps. And then my brother, who's an awesome actor and even better man, but he signed on to be Green Flake. And that allowed me to make the film look more expensive than it was. because it was done, it was cheap, but it doesn't look that way because,
No, it's
you know, can I tell you this quick story? I know you didn't ask, but
Yeah.
the day before, we're supposed to film a scene where we're supposed to go into the lake, into the
Yeah.
water. Flake goes into the lake. The night before we shoot that, the lake froze. And I was like, oh no. And so I kind of creeped out, you know, stepped onto the lake a little bit, and it was like a little like creaky crack. I'm like, maybe he'll go onto the lake. So I to my brother, I'm like, look, bro, can you go on to the lake, walk out onto the ice, maybe about 10, 15 yards, and we'll give you this tree to hold on to. And he was like, let's do it. I was like, and if you go in, I go in. But
wow.
nobody else go in. Nobody else go in, you know?
Yeah.
So we were doing things that you just shouldn't do.
Yeah,
But we just wanted this story to be great.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
definitely.
I love the way you know, your brother felt that passion as well. And he was like, no, I want this story to be made as well. So I will make that
Oh,
sacrifice
yeah,
to do
exactly.
that. That's beautiful.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at some of the scenes within Green Flake, you know, it touches on a lot of emotional and sensitive areas within the film. What was it like for the cast members, and what was that support like dealing with that emotion? Because I mean, a lot of it must have felt really you know, again, might have felt that connection with that, depending, looking at the story.
It was a special experience. It really was. The difficult part was to not get wrapped up in the emotion of it before action, because just talking to the actors and talking them through the scene, okay, so here's how we're going to do this. Often I'm starting to break down and they start breaking down, and then we have to wait 15 minutes that we don't have because the sun's going down, you know. So that was honestly a challenge in itself, telling this story and being able to stand next to your feelings, just kind of put them right here, still close to you, but I can't even explain how professional these actors and crew members were, because they were connected to the film, but were able to step in and deliver every time. Because a lot of these shots, we had one shot to get it done.
Yeah.
Shot the film in 11 days. And so we had one take.
So you wrote the film, then you had 2 months before you had to start shooting, and you shot the film in 11 days. And you were literally, I have no idea what I'm doing almost. I'm just going to run with
Learning on
it.
the job.
Can I just say, like,
Yeah.
like, honestly, if this was a Wayne's World moment, it would literally be, we're not worthy. Like, that is amazing. And we can only just say a huge congratulations. Even, you know, regardless of the film festivals, which we'll touch on a little bit shortly, but just the fact of that journey.
Yeah.
Molly, in England, we say you smashed it.
Yeah.
That's literally what we would say.
In LA, we say you killed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. I gotta say though, like, cause even the night before we're about to start filming, I hadn't switched into director mode because I've been pulling the pieces together and finding the location, and then, you know, everything. I was doing everything, you know, with great help, but I didn't think of directing until the night before. And now I'm like, oh, I don't know how to direct. I didn't know what to say. How do we get them to go? So I'm YouTubing. So when do you say cut? When do you say action? I had no idea.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to say go and stop, but a friend of mine was like, no, because you gotta say, they're not, the respect, it's gonna feel weird. I'm like,
Just
okay.
on that note, like, was it a little bit like, were you quite nervous to just do that first action or cut? Because I could imagine just calling that out might be a little bit like, oh, wow, I'm actually a director.
You know what actually happened? I forgot. So they're saying all the things, roll this, sound that, you know, and I'm like watching. And it was just quiet. And and then my first AD is like, sir? I'm like, yeah. He's like,
Come again?
I'm like, okay, hold up. This is not gonna work. I was like, can you say action and I'll say cut? He's like, sure. And he's like, I have permission to say action. And I'm like, yeah. So my first AD called action, I called cut.
That's what I call teamwork.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
amazing. Brilliant. So, I mean, looking at film festivals now, so it's been like selected, and of course, you've had some really great recognition from other film festivals as well. What has been the overall reception? Irene, can you go into a little bit more about that?
It's been so good.
Yeah.
I mean, I no pressure for your film festival, because being a part of it, being selected is a win because you guys are big. But every film festival we've gotten in, we've won. Every single one. And I definitely didn't expect that, because one, I put the film in before it was all the way done. I just didn't want to miss the window. And so as we're getting responses back, I'm just blown away, because I thought that this film being a period piece about a religion, the Mormon religion, usually when you hear about Mormon, it's like, well, that's for the Mormons, those guys,
It's true,
Yeah.
But for this to be accepted as well as it has been, I realized that, oh my gosh, so people do connect on just humanity, on a good story that is true, and you want to see someone overcome something. And so I was blown away by the response.
Brilliant. So you know what that means now, don't you, Melanie? We want more films from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More films from Mowley. That's the hashtag now. More films from Mowley. Yeah.
Well, it's done.
Created
It's done and done. Someone told me, like, after we finished Green Flake, they're like, I think you're gonna catch the bug. And I was like, oh no, I gotta go back and make money.
Yeah, exactly.
But the bug got me. I've since then written 3 screenplays and shot 2 more. So I've shot 2 more films since Green Flake.
Amazing.
And are you actually saying action now, or is that still the
funny? Yeah, I don't like it. I really don't like saying action, but I did on the next one, and then on the third one, I did not. Okay. I was like, I didn't like saying action. I felt like I was saying it because I had to. I just don't like it,
Well,
so,
if you're not feeling it, Mowley,
Yeah.
don't.
I think what we love about you is that the fact that you're not sticking to the rules.
And that's amazing.
It's like Mowley
does Mowley.
He makes his own rules. That's it. And he can still create a masterpiece. So that's awesome.
Wow, thank you.
In terms of your other projects, are you able to give a snippet of what those projects are about?
Yeah, I can tell you about one, The Watching. So that's one that we just shot in December. And we won't get into the backstory of that one, but we shot that one in December, and that was in a short amount of time that we got it done. And it's a story about the influence that the media has on us, and what we believe, and what's true, and what's real, and what's not. So it's actually a horror film, but it's one that we all can relate to, because no matter where you're from, we're affected by our feed, and what's being given to us. And so it's a great intellectual horror film.
Amazing.
Sounds very relevant.
Very relevant in today's society. So we'll look forward to that. Again, Mowley, we just wanted to say congratulations once again. Again, for viewers that if you haven't watched Green Flake yet, and you've bought your passes for Paris International Film Festival, you've got opportunity. Yeah. So make sure you watch Green Flake. Mowley, we wish you all the success with your journey in filmmaking.
Inspiration.
Truly.
Before we go, can I say one thing?
Of course you can.
Okay. Filmmakers, make your freaking film. It can be done. It can be done. You do not have to follow the rules. Make your rules, but get it done.
Yeah.
And so I learned that you don't have to have all of the pieces of the puzzle. As long as you paint the picture, just finish it. And so I hope that those who see this film or hear about my process, that they know that it's not unique to me. It's everyone. We all can do whatever we want to do in filmmaking, as long as we just see it to the end.
Amazing. Thank you, Mowley.
Thank you for that message.
That's absolutely amazing. Thanks again for being a guest on Rhyme Entertainment Showcase.
See you soon.
When Massa come and it's freezing cold, what the first thing he gonna do? Make fire? And what the slaves gonna do?
The construction of winter quarters is imperative to our survival.
I'll come back for you.
Eat your breakfast, pack your things, say your goodbyes.
I promise.
It's gonna be hard enough getting there. What sense that make? Coming all the way back. So don't come back. Just survive. Ain't gonna be nothing here for you. Promise me. Run. Green, I want for you, I wouldn't be here.
We all made sacrifices. Only way we make it is together.
We hope you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for more Rhyme Entertainment Showcase.